Hey guys, it's Alex. Welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to show you 5 ways that you can lose weight without exercising or dieting. If there's anybody out there that is trying to lose weight and for whatever reason you have problems, perhaps changing your diet, if you're required to eat certain foods and it's causing you to gain more weight, or if there's anyone out there that is unable to exercise, perhaps for lack of time or for health reasons or for whatever reason, you cannot diet and you cannot exercise but you still want to lose some weight. These are 5 ways that you can drop some weight. I have them written down on my phone, so I will be glancing down a lot. Now, method number 1 is the time that you eat. It is best to eat the most amount of food at the time when you're most active during the day. So if you're active a lot in the mornings and afternoons, then eat the largest quantity of food around that time. First of all, you need a lot more food when you're active because you need it for energy. So when you eat around that time, you use the food for energy to do whatever work that you're doing. And when you're less active during the day, you don't eat as much because you're sitting around, perhaps you're watching TV, or you're just, I don't know, you're laying down or you're doing something that's not physically taxing. You want to eat less food around that time. So eat the largest quantity of food during the most active part of your day. When you're less active, you eat less food. So notice you're not changing what you're eating, you're just eating less of it when you're less active. Method number 2 is how much you eat. We already know this, okay, not to overeat because it makes you feel uncomfortable and you can't move and you get all sleepy and you just lay there and all of that. But it's really good for us to remember that just because we have a lot of food on our plate does not mean we have to eat all of it. You can always save it until later and eat it later. So you're not changing what you're eating, you're just eating less of it. And by eating less, I don't mean simply eating less of whatever portion that you eat. I mean eating less of a large portion that you eat. I'm not encouraging people to eat burgers and fries, but I'm saying if you like to eat burgers and fries, just because fries come with your burger does not mean you have to eat the fries. You can save the fries until later if you feel full after eating the burger. Okay, so you're eating your burger and fries, you're done with your burger and you're no longer hungry. Don't eat the fries at the time. Just eat it, save it, and eat it later as a snack or something. So that's method number 2. Just be aware of how much you eat and stop eating when you're no longer hungry. Otherwise, you would be eating too much and all of that will be stored because the body does not really need it at that time. And that's what you're trying to prevent, is to keep the body from storing a whole lot of food that it does not need. Method number 3, eat less added sugar and salt. Sugar and salt disrupts the osmolarity in the body, which is the salt balance, sugar and salt balance. But we just use the phrase osmolarity, salt balance, okay? So when you eat a lot of added salt and sugar, your body's osmolarity gets disrupted. And in order to restore balance, the brain will tell you that you are thirsty and you need to drink fluids in order to balance out the extra salt or sugar that has now been added to your body. So what happens is that when your brain tells you you're thirsty, you go and drink water or fluid or juice or pop or whatever. You drink some sort of fluid in order to balance out your osmolarity. What that does is that it increases your weight dramatically. Water is not weightless, or fluids. I should stop saying water because a lot of people actually don't drink water. A lot of people, when they're thirsty, they drink juice or Coke or uh, Pepsi, whatever. So fluids are not weightless. They have a lot of weight, and when you drink a lot of fluids, that fluid stays in your body in order to restore the osmolarity in your body as a result of the excess or the added sugar and salt that you have consumed. And because of that, you weigh more than your actual weight because of the fluids in your body. And I don't know if you guys have noticed this, but when people begin to lose weight, the first few days or the first few pounds that they lose is usually water weight. And that is especially when they begin to eat healthier. They lose a lot of water weight because the body simply does not need all that excess water in your body anymore if there is no salt present in order to balance it out. So you shed all that water by going to the bathroom, right? And by sweating and, perspiration and all of that. I mean, respiration. So basically, when you eat less added sugar and salt, you reduce your body's need for more water. And with less water in your body, you weigh less. Now, I'm not saying to not eat foods that have sugar or salt in it. What I'm saying is, when you prepare your meal, don't add extra salt in it. Almost all the spices and seasonings that you find in the store has salt in it. Quite frankly, Pop's juice, even the sweetest juice that you can think of, has salt in it. It has sugar and it has salt. Cereal has sugar and salt. Even the ones that don't taste very sweet have sugar in it and they have salt in it. Milk, sugar and salt. A lot of them. There's some with no sugar, but for majority of the milk and the cereal and all these breakfast foods, and majority of the foods, generally speaking, have sugar and salt. So there's no need for you to add extra sugar to your cereal or extra salt to your cooking, because this is the added salts that I'm talking about. I'm not talking about the salt that comes in the food that you ordered or in the seasoning that you purchased. I'm talking about adding salt on top of seasoning or foods that already have salt in it. That is the added salt I'm talking about. So this way, if you cut out the added salt, you can still eat the foods that you eat now. You just have eliminated all the extra sugar and salt, and that will help you to reduce the amount of fluids that you have to consume in order to restore your osmolarity. And with less consumption of fluids comes less weight. That is method number, what was that? Number 3. Method number 4 is fasting. Fasting is not as difficult as you might think that it is. For instance, if you eat at 10 p.m. and you don't eat anything else until 10 a.m., technically you did fasting for that 12-hour period. For this kind of fasting, to help you lose weight, you can fast at a time that is most convenient for you. So don't fast while you're working, because you need energy to focus. You need energy to move around. You need energy even to speak. You need energy. You need energy to think. So don't fast when you're busy or when you're physically active. Fast when you're not physically active. Fasting is a healthy thing to do as long as you don't overdo it. So overdoing it will be fasting for a very long period of time, and perhaps going a whole day without eating and doing that all the time, because then you're skipping meals and you're not eating and you're not getting nutrients, and that's not good. So what I would advise for fasting, fast while you're asleep. You set a time, say from 10 p.m. to, like I said, 10 a.m. in the morning, or to 8 a.m. in the morning, when you will eat nothing, you will drink no juice, you will only drink water. Not flavored water, not water with a little bit of lemon and a little bit of juice or lime or whatever. No, just water. Plain old clean water. That's all you drink for this 12-hour period. Now you might think, well, everybody fasts anyway when they sleep. Believe it or not, some people do not fast when they sleep. Some people get up at night to go eat or to go drink milk. When you do that, you're not fasting. Even though it's milk and you didn't eat anything, milk has a lot of nutrients in it. And when you take in all these nutrients, your body begins to work to digest whatever it is that you have eaten or drank. Like some people drink smoothies. Some smoothies can qualify as foods because there's so much stuff in there. There's all these veggies in there, there's fruits in there that makes the smoothies qualify as meals. So I would advise that you drink plain old water for say a 10 or 12-hour or even 8-hour period. It can be shorter, like a 6-hour period, well, while you're asleep, when you're eating nothing. That reduces the number of times that you eat foods that you don't really need to eat. Because when you're fasting, if you're fasting while you're sleeping, you don't need a lot of food at that time in order to sleep, right? You ate during the day, and when you lay down to sleep, just don't eat until you wake up the next morning, and then you eat. So you're not starving yourself, you're not skipping meals. You eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner, but after dinner, don't go snacking at 12 o'clock or 1 o'clock in the morning or 3 o'clock in the morning. No, just don't eat. Just drink water until you wake up the next day, and then so that will be your fasting. That will also help you lose some weight. That was number 4. Number 5, and the final one, is very important because a lot of us don't really think about this, and that is realizing that being tired does not equate being hungry. Just because you're tired does not mean you're hungry. If you work and you had dinner at work and you did a lot of work, but you ate, you had dinner at work, you come back home and you're feeling exhausted and you're so tired and you're looking forward to climbing into bed and going to sleep because you're really tired, right? And then you go to the kitchen and get food. Sometimes we do that out of habit more than really feeling hungry. And basically, number 5 is for you to remember that just because you're tired and you need to rest does not mean you have to eat first and then rest. Just rest. A lot of the times when we're tired, we're also hungry. So we tend to get into the habit of thinking that just because we're tired that we're hungry. But that is not always the case. Tiredness does not equate hunger. If you're tired, what you need is rest. You don't necessarily need food. When you're hungry, what you need is food. So if you're tired and you're not hungry, just rest. Don't eat food. So these are my 5 tips or ways that you can lose some weight without dieting or exercising. This is good for somebody that's trying to transition into changing their lifestyle and eating healthier, or eventually beginning to exercise, but they're not quite there yet and they just need to lose some weight before they get started. These methods, if you give them a try, I am sure that they will help you. So just to go over the 5 methods again. Tip number 1, the time you eat when physically active. When you're not active, don't eat a lot. You can eat, but don't eat as much as you would when you're physically active. Number 2, the amount of food that you eat. Eat as you're hungry, but once you're no longer hungry, stop eating right there. Just stop eating. Even if there's only 3 spoonfuls left, just stop eating. Method number 3, eat less added sugar and salt. The sugar and salt in everything that you purchase, trust me, unless you specifically opt for no sugar, zero salt. Don't use any added sugar or salt. That will reduce the amount of fluids that your body holds onto, and that will reduce your weight. Method number 4, fasting. Fast when you're not physically active, and you can fast for as long as you feel comfortable, and don't skip any meals. You can still eat full meals and drink only water. Eat nothing, only drink water. Tip number 5, realizing that being tired does not equate being hungry. If you're not hungry, why are you eating? Just rest. If you're tired, rest. If you're hungry, eat. If you're tired and hungry, eat and rest. But if you're only tired and not hungry, just rest. Don't eat. Those are my 5 methods. I wanted to point something out about the added sugar and salt bit. I just wanted to say that some foods that we purchase may say 0 sugar, but that does not mean that it doesn't have some other type of sweetener. So that's where they get us. And by they, I mean these companies. I watch out for that sometimes. Like, they said no sugar added, but there are so many other types of ways of sweetening foods that does not require the use of sugar. So just because it says 0 sugar does not mean that there's not another type of sweetener in there. And that is one of the more important reasons why you don't need to add any more sugar, because if it tastes sweet, trust me, there's some sort of sweetener in there. It might be natural, it might be not, but there's some sort of sweetener in there that is not sugar. So even though they say no sugar added, they're telling the truth, but that does not mean that they did not artificially sweeten the food. Okay? So that is my video for today. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you in my next video.